Can we take this budget setup and make impacts in a mile? In this build series, we're gonna find out. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Shoot More. If you're new, welcome. If you've seen some of my other content, you like what you've seen, please hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button. It really helps the channel out. Today, we're going to talk about a new build series that I'm excited to bring to the channel, and it's not rimfire. You might remember a few videos ago, I talked about a dual centerfire rimfire match taking place at Twisted Barrel in early March. Unfortunately, I got the flu earlier that week, and I did not sign up in time to shoot centerfire, but I still went and hung out because a bunch of my friends shot it. Honestly, I was pretty jealous. It looked like a lot of fun, and it really got me thinking, how can I build a rifle that I can go out there and shoot 1,000 yards, shoot a mile, maybe shoot a couple casual PRS matches, but not have to invest thousands and thousands of dollars into the platform? Well, enter the Houtlier. So what is the Houtlier? At its core, there's two main pieces. First is the Howa 1500 barreled action coupled with an Outlier chassis. I just want to say, I bought all of this with my own money. Nothing sponsored, no brands reached out to me, there's no agreements. This is totally self-funded project. So I promise you, I will be honest with you if these things suck. One thing to note before we get too far down the road, I know there's somebody looking at this going, this isn't budget. There's a $900 scope on there. There's a $300 bipod on there. None of that is budget. I want to set the stage that I am coming at this as myself. I have some extra equipment. I have things that I can pull from other rifles. You know, what is the bare minimum that I have to purchase to be able to go shoot centerfire? And that is a chassis and a barreled action. If you don't have an extra scope, sure, it's gonna end up costing you a little bit more, but still, the core of this series is around the Howa barreled action and the Outlier chassis. So for the series itself, what can you expect? This is part one. We're introducing the build, the Houtlier. I just came up with that name. I don't know that I love it, but that's what we're gonna roll with for the time being. We're gonna set the expectations for the series, and then we're gonna go over initial impressions of the build itself. Part two is gonna be a factory ammunition test. I don't know about you, but I have always wondered how bad the absolute bargain barrel factory loads can be. Winchester White Box is one that comes to mind. So I bought some. And I've also got some higher end ammunition that we're gonna test as well, really kind of put it through its paces and see how much of a difference there is between the two. After we've fed this thing a healthy diet of factory loads, I think we're gonna break into the reloading world. I've got a decent amount of reloading equipment, but I myself am new to metallic cartridges, so it's gonna be a little bit of a learning experience. I am excited to learn, and that's kind of why I wanna use the factory ammunition first, see if there is a grain or bullet type that this thing seems to prefer. That way we kind of have a starting point for load development. Video 4, I think we're gonna try and take this thing out to a mile. We've got a known distance range at Twisted Barrel. It's out to, I think it's a mile, I'm pretty sure. If not, it's pretty close. The farthest shot I've ever made is 800 yards ballpark with that AR. I thought about making this a 1,000-yard challenge, but honestly, 1,000 yards with the 6.5 Creedmoor I think is pretty much a cheat code anyway. It's not really a big feat. So we've got access. Let's see if we can make it happen. Beyond that, I do have some ideas for other videos for this platform. One thing that I'd really like to do is test a muzzle brake versus suppressor. Unfortunately, I don't have a suppressor big enough that I can put on this rifle, which is why there's a pretty gnarly looking muzzle brake on it right now. I need you guys to do me a favor. Go in the comments below and let me know what your favorite suppressor is for 6.5 Creed or, you know, centerfire cartridges. I'm pretty new to the suppressor world when it comes to the bigger stuff, hence why I don't have one, so I'm looking for suggestions. But TBD on that. Let's go ahead and jump into the specifics of the build. So there are two core parts to this build. First off is the Howa barreled action. It's chambered in 6.5 Creedmoor. It's a 24-inch barrel. The barrel is threaded, so you can put a muzzle brake or a suppressor on it. Barreled action also comes with their hacked trigger, which after a very minor spring mod is one of the better factory triggers that I've shot. All of that is laid into the Outlier chassis. I think most people in the precision shooting world have probably heard of Outlier at this point. They are more of a budget name to the game, but they are associated with Arkin. I will say I was a little bit concerned that the chassis just was not going to be great, but after getting it here and getting it assembled, I'm pretty impressed for what you get for the under $400 that they cost. If you are looking at buying one of these, no, they do come in pieces. This entire thing has to be assembled. Not a big deal, but they don't give you instructions, so you kind of have to figure it out. If you've put anything together before, you can do it. I believe in you. It's not hard. The trickiest thing with assembling is definitely tightening the buffer tube castle nut if you don't have the appropriate socket. It's just something to know that I wish they would tell you in advance. The only real complaint I have with the chassis at this point is the flexibility in the forearm, and I think that's just because they were trying to save weight and they're trying to make them inexpensive so they're not super thick. So that is kind of twofold though. If you see here how short this M-LOK rail is on this forearm, if you try to add M-LOK weights to that rail, it will interfere with the ARC rail that's underneath it. So what I did to try and alleviate two problems, one, that blocked ARC rail, and two, add some rigidity to the forearm, I had an ARC rail laying around for a different project that I wasn't using. I just put it on the forearm because there is M-LOK slots on the bottom, and that helps stiffen the forearm up a little bit. And I have full use of that rail now that it's not being interfered with by the attached weight. I did splurge a little bit for the muzzle brake. I'm not a big muzzle brake person. I didn't want to just order anything off of eBay because I do think there are certain muzzle brakes that work, and I think there's certain muzzle brakes that are just loud. So I wanted to get something that I knew was going to benefit me if I was going to have to deal with the increased noise. So I went to Area 419, I picked up their Hellfire match, also on sale from the same place that I got the barreled action from, and got that installed. Super, super simple on install. I love the design. I haven't shot it yet, obviously, but at least from the install and looking at the quality, it is the same quality you get for everything that Area 419 puts out, and I'm pretty pleased with it. I think everything else on this rifle is you've either seen before or is pretty self-explanatory. I've got the AccuTac bipod off of my PRS gun. I've got some extra weights on the front off of Amazon. We've got a Gray Ops thumb shelf here on the side, and we've got our Burris XTR III here on top. It is sitting in a worn cantilever mount. I know somebody's going to say, why is there a cantilever mount? Well, I want to shoot this thing out to a mile, so I'm trying to get as much elevation as possible. It's got a 20 MOA tally rail on it, and then the worn mount itself is also 20 MOA, so we've got 40 MOA elevation built into the mount. I'm hoping that's enough to get us close so we don't have to hold over like 15 mils when we shoot to a mile, but TBD, we'll see. Initial impressions. Overall, I am excited to shoot this thing. I have been giddy as a kid on Christmas since these parts started showing up. I don't know why, you know? Like, I think because it's new and exciting. I don't have a centerfire build. I don't have anything that I can really shoot out far at a distance. It's just a really exciting thing to be able to put together a new platform. The action is smooth. The one downside that I have found of this action, verified chamber's empty. When you pull the trigger, it has an extremely heavy bolt lift. Like, it's heavy. I don't know if that's gonna break in. I don't know. I don't know how design works. I just know it's got a very, very heavy bolt lift, and it's just something you got to deal with. The other thing that I'm not totally thrilled with that we've already kind of talked about is the flexibility in the forearm, but I think a combination of adding the arc rail on the bottom, and then I've got some like 1/4-inch steel plate I might cut up and try and put it on the sides just to try and get some more rigidity in there. The weight's not bad. I think as she sits right now with the extra arc rail, the bipod, and the extra weights on the forearm, she's around 16 pounds. So not a super light rifle, but definitely not a 20-something pound PRS rig either. I'm sure somebody will tell me that, you know, this is a gamer gun and why do you got to shoot something so heavy, and I'm a wuss and I don't like recoil, so whatever. Either way, as far as expectations for performance, I think if we are honest with ourselves and if this thing shoots a consistent 0.7 group at 100 yards, I think we are money ahead. Maybe can we shrink that with hand loads? I don't know. You know, everything I've read online said these Howas generally shoot pretty good. People say between 0.5s and 0.7s. Kind of hard to trust. Is it 5 shots? Are they 3 shots? Are they dropping the flyers? There's no standard way to measure groups, unfortunately, so it's really hard to compare results that people say online to what you get. But we'll go through that journey together. If you guys have any questions about any of these products, let me know. I think at the end of the series, we'll kind of do a recap, a deep dive, thoughts and opinions on everything. I hope you're enjoying the content and looking forward into this dive into the centerfire world as much as I am. Like I said, make sure to let me know in the comments down below what your favorite suppressor is for your centerfire rigs, and I'll see what I can do to get one on hand. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys next time. Thanks again.